We got some clarity, and hopefully it stays this way. Trump's excellent decision on taxes. There was some confusion, to say the least. You got Trump's buddy Steve Bannon saying one thing. You had that Time magazine interview when it came to taxes, and nobody really knew. We started hearing rumblings and grumblings that they were going to raise taxes on business owners, basically. People who own S corporations and all the terrible wealthy people that live in this country. Anyway, he rejected the idea to raise taxes on high earners. Again, that would have been another, quite frankly, an unforced error by Republicans. It would have further divided Republicans in his coalition, and most certainly would have hurt the economy. You can't tout the success of the 2017 tax cuts. You can't jump up and down and say how great they are. You ran on that and then basically do away with them. Doesn't make any sense. It was reported last week that there was some support for raising taxes. Again, Bannon was chiming in on that. They were going to either revert them to 39.6 or 40%. Liberals love the idea. Again, Donald Trump pointed out correctly, listen, today's day and age, people can move. People can move, and they will. We reported last week talking about in the UK, they raised taxes on all of those evil, wealthy people and job creators and business owners there. And guess what? Their tax revenues went down. Why? People picked up and moved. Again, listen, the reality is, for the super wealthy out there, they can always hire. And, there's a lot of tricks. There are. Again, I've mentioned it before here on the program, how people borrow against their inflated, stock holdings and how that's used. And there are ways you could deal with that in a certain way. But, for small businesses out there, it's slim pickings, man, especially if you're an S corporation out there. Some of the schedules that you have to deduct certain expenses and things that you want to purchase to expand your business. 15 years, for crying out loud. I mean, so you got to go out of pocket, spend a bunch of money on something you're looking to acquire, and then you got to write it off over 15 years. Again, a lot of it, quite frankly, is nonsensical. I know they increased certain deductions and how quick you can write them down, but for others, it makes it more difficult. Again, you don't want to mess around. You don't want to mess around with something that worked. But again, you are getting some pushback right now. You get some Republicans in these blue states that they want that increased SALT deduction. Donald Trump is serious about his no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. Again, Republicans, I got a suggestion. Why don't you do your job and cut spending? I mean, Doge has been going hard at it. Well, why don't you, put that in and then go even further? Find it, for crying out loud. Find it somewhere else. Stop coming back to the American people and asking more, especially after what we're witnessing right now. All of the waste, all of the fraud that Doge is highlighting. You think that makes us all excited to pay higher taxes? I talked about this in the past when it came to taxes. The only prudent thing that one could do, first and foremost, we all know who pays most of the taxes here in this country. You want to raise taxes on people that are building and creating and wealthy out there. Okay. Why not do your job, put in a balanced budget amendment that makes sense, balance the budget, cut spending and say any new taxes, any new revenue that's coming, if we're going to raise taxes on the wealthy, that money is earmarked to pay down our national debt. Again, you have to codify this into law. It can't be some half-ass executive order, some other nonsense like that. It has to be law. Okay? Then you come back and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to, come together. We're going to try to pay this down. But again, we are going to be prudent on our end. They won't do it. They won't. WatchDog on wallstreet.com.